Hello and welcome to another episode of Nerd Age. This is the show where we talk about everything nerdy. My name is Mick, and with me as always are my co-hosts Josh.
What's up?
Corey.
Yo.
And Jonah.
Power Rangers.
Oh. Sorry. That went over my head.
Okay.
Welcome to the show, everybody. We're just going to jump into we're going to jump into some D&D movie talk. Everybody else here but myself has seen the movies, so
A failure.
It's a tradition. One of us has to not see it, and then we spoil it for the other person.
missed John Wick 4 last week,
Yeah.
so it was
Who's
my
not
turn.
going to watch Mario next week? Any volunteers?
Oh, man.
Oh, Mick was last one.
I can't do 2 weeks in a row, guys. Come on.
Sorry. We didn't make the rules up right now.
Okay. Well,
We discussed this.
It's tradition.
Yeah.
anyway, so
Yeah. Dungeons and Dragons.
go for it, guys.
Honor Among Thieves. Right? That's the full title of it. Yeah. Should we probably do non-spoiler
Yeah,
first?
let's do non-spoiler.
Sure, we can do
Non-spoiler
general.
first, and then we'll go into spoilers a little after. So I was excited to watch this movie. I don't play D&D like Corey and Josh do, so it might be a little... I'll be curious to see people that know a lot about the game and play, what their reaction is. But the more trailers I saw and the more clips I saw, the more I was like getting excited for this movie. And I had a lot of fun with it. I thought it was funny. I thought the humor was clever. There were a few jokes that didn't land that I thought were kind of dumb. But for the most part, I thought it really worked. I thought the action was really good. And even there's like some heartfelt moments that actually worked for me. So there was a kind of an emotional storyline through the movie that felt like it worked for me. Even though there was a lot of humor in it and it was more your typical action comedy, it still landed when it needed to. And so I really like this movie. Curious to see what fans of the game think, because for me, there was a few references I got, but most of them went over my head. So I'm curious to see what you guys think. But I really enjoyed the movie. I thought it was really good.
What do you think, Josh?
Yeah, I liked it as well. It was definitely more of like an action comedy, which is kind of what I gathered from the trailers, which I think that they did the right thing about not being like, let's make a super serious D&D movie and take ourselves super seriously. They were definitely like poking fun at stuff, and they went the right route. Like, I think they hit the perfect tone of, like you said, Jonah, like some heartfelt moments that I was actually surprised about. Like, oh, this is like some good storytelling, and some heartfelt moments in there, some good action. And I thought the comedy for the most part landed with me. I'm kind of in the same boat. There were a couple jokes that I was like, well, okay, that's kind of dumb or whatever. It didn't really just hit with me, but overall I thought it was really fun. Yeah, really enjoyable. I think they did a good job of also balancing like, broad jokes and then like more like, oh, D&D jokes kind of a thing. I think they struck the perfect balance of like, if you've never played D&D, you could just go in and watch the movie and still understand what's going on and still enjoy the movie and not be like, well, what are they doing right there or whatever. Yeah. So yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think, going into this movie, I knew exactly what we were getting. I mean, from the trailers, I kind of knew what the vibe was going to be and kind of the attitude. It was just going to be a fun adventure, and it wasn't going to be taking itself too seriously. And I think that's a really good thing, because I think when people think of D&D, they think of, it's satanistic and all this stuff. And it's like, it's not. It's more like friends sitting at a table, storytelling together, and just having a fun time. And honestly, more than half the time, you're busting jokes at each other and just making fun of each other and just having a fun time, trying to do dumb stuff and, being stupid in a lot of it. And sometimes just kind of throwing stuff together and seeing if it works. And a lot of this movie felt similar like vibes to sitting at a table with your friends, just having a fun time, enjoying creativity and imagination. And so that's the part of this movie that I think was the best. There were some jokes that, obviously weren't the best for me. I think also the middle was a little long. It kind of drew on. I also wish they didn't put that Speaking with Dead joke in the trailer. I thought that was really funny, but then I saw it so many times in the trailer that I was like, it lost its magic. And I was like, I really like that joke because it was funny and it happens. Like it's happened in podcasts that I've watched where they didn't fully understand, and then they talk to each other, and the guy's listening, and he answers like that kind of stuff. The stuff that happened in the trailer, it's like it's funny, and I don't know, I enjoyed it a lot. But yeah, it was good. It was a fun experience. It was a great entry point for people who don't know what D&D is. I think it was very approachable. The fact that you were saying you really enjoyed it was really good. I mean, that's kind of the goal, right? To make a movie that's accessible to everyone. And so, it's surprising how popular D&D has gotten, and it's awesome. And I think that, kids watching this are going to like D&D even more. So. Well, the
other thing that I liked about it is it looked really good too.
Yeah, definitely.
The CGI was good. They spent time on it. It wasn't just kind of like,
it wasn't like a cash grab.
Yeah, let's just throw this out there. But it seemed like they took care in how they were doing it. So I thought the CGI was really good. I thought the fight scenes were like enjoyable for me, where it's not just like, oh, I've seen this before, this is getting boring, but it was like it kind of like different set pieces, different things happening. I thought that was really good. And even the interactions between the characters I thought were unique. So I just enjoyed, there wasn't a part where I was like, I'm getting bored of this. It just seemed like everything kind of worked. And I'm a sucker for Chris Pine. I really like him. And I feel like this is one of his better movies. Like his way of playing that character, if you've seen a Chris Pine movie, you know how he acts, but I just thought this was like a return to form. To like, I liked his dialogue was clever. I thought he was funny. I thought everything he did was really good. And the other thing I really liked about this movie was the music. The music was really good. Yeah, like just how that felt like it belonged in the world. It didn't feel generic to me. It just felt like, man, this is good quality, and it feels like it belongs in that universe. So I just think for me, all around, it was just kind of like the acting was good. There was one character that I thought maybe was a little weaker, the Olga character, but I think for the most part, she actually did a pretty good job. So to me, it kind of really worked. So I really enjoyed it.
Back to the Chris Pine point you were making, a lot of people, especially in like Marvel movies, it sounds like they're reading a line or a joke that's written generically. And they'll deliver it generically. The way Chris Pine delivers it is he puts his own spin on it. I'm sure he kind of took his own, but the way he just delivers it felt like it was from him. You know what I mean? So like I found it very authentic, and it felt really good coming from him. And if he was a bard, we'll talk about this later. If he was a bard, he's supposed to be very high in charisma, and he's supposed to be very convincing and very good at talking. And so he fit that character very well. If he was a bard.
That's what I would say about Chris Pine is that word is like, he's very charismatic and like that
everything was very natural.
That whole idea of like, even how he like has back and forth with people is just very him, which I like. And so to me, it fit really well. What do you think, Josh?
Yeah, no, I agree. All the acting was really well done. I think Michelle Rodriguez, I don't usually like her in very many things because I feel like she's typecast.
Yeah,
it's like tough. But she was actually pretty good. I thought I was going to have a problem with her in the movie, but I think she kind of nailed her character. Chris Pine, there's something about his cadence and delivery that's just really well done. And like that, you guys talked about, he's got that kind of quick banter, and he delivers his lines well, especially when he's delivering like, little quips or whatever. But yeah, all the cast was cool. The druid was cool. Just the way she was doing stuff. I liked the kind of the relationship between the characters. And then there's one character that I thought was probably my favorite, and he's not in very much of it, but we can talk about that in the spoiler section.
Cool. So overall, what would you put a score on it?
I'd give it an 8.8.
It's really good. I would put it at 7.9. I just couldn't put it at 8 personally. What'd you put it at?
I have it at 7.8.
Okay, nice. Still really good. I mean, that's so close to an 8. That's practically like, that's really high.
And I'm almost to a 9. So
I mean, and Rotten Tomatoes had it at like what, 94 or something like that. It's 92.
Yeah, both the critic and
it's like 90. It's like 90 and 80.
You know, the funny thing is that critic score went up real quick. Like the initial score was lower, and then it went skyrocketed. Because I don't know if maybe like I don't know if it was like when they were rating it, but it was weird. But like it matched the actual audience score pretty well. I think it was like 91 or something like that.
Yeah.
So I was very, very surprised. It was really good.
Yeah, it's a really fun, enjoyable movie. It's one that I'd watch again. I can't say that about a lot of the movies that we've seen recently.
Yeah, sure.
I'm like, I'm not going to watch that again. But yeah, it's definitely a fun movie. Really fun movie.
Yeah.
You think it'll do well box office wise, or?
It made 73 worldwide. I think the budget's 150. So I mean, it should.
Yeah.
I think word of mouth is most people are saying it's enjoyable. For those people like me that see a Dungeons and Dragons and like, what's that? You know, I think if they hear, like word of mouth is this is a really fun movie, people are going to go and watch it.
I didn't think they'd push out John Wick. I know it was the second weekend for them, but I was just kind of surprised that they even topped charts.
Yeah.
So
Was it PG-13?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really clean. I mean, there's not anything that you're really going to be like, that's,
Yeah.
So like I said, we went with Ethan and Jason and stuff like that.
Oh, nice.
And so, I really liked it.
Did they enjoy it?
Yeah,
I'm sure
Ethan
they did.
really liked it. Jason fell asleep.
Did he really?
But
You
Jason
guys saw it late, right?
Yeah, it was like at 10.
15.
He said
that's
5
late.
minutes and he fell asleep, and then he caught the last 20. He's like, I really liked the last 20 minutes.
I mean, but like we went to the 10:15 showing. The movie didn't start with all the previews till 10:50.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
No way.
It's insane.
So you guys were walking out of there at like 1-ish?
Yeah,
close to?
12:45 I think was what we.
Dude, that's late.
But yeah, so we're gonna go into spoilers a little bit. So yeah, that's my.
Casting a spell.
Yeah, he is casting a spell.
Speak of dead.
If you haven't seen it, go watch it. You can come back.
You know the drill.
Oh, yeah.
You know the drill.
To what Josh was saying earlier, his favorite character, I think, was probably one of my favorites
Which
too.
one? The Paladin?
The Paladin. I thought
He was hilarious.
I thought he was great, and the dialogue between him and the other characters, to me, was really well done. I think there's a level of like when you have a character like that, if it's dumb writing, it doesn't work. But I thought the writing was actually pretty clever.
Yeah.
And so I know it might be some people might be like, they're making fun of this character, but I just felt like it kind of worked with everything. Where even Chris Pine is like the whole thing where he's like, he has a problem with those guys. Like, he has a history kind of thing, and he hates that character. And he's like, well, he can't be good. And then everything he does is like, no, he's straight laced. Everything he does is good. Yeah. I just thought that was really good.
It was like, it's such a it's a cool way to kind of show you how D&D is.
Yeah.
Because that character was not a player character. He was probably someone controlled by the DM to kind of point them in the right direction, set them on their way. And I liked how clear cut he was. Like, yeah, paladins are like stalwart and like righteous and they want to do the right thing. But it just reminded me, I just imagined a DM controlling that character and just like pushing him in the right direction, trying to address this Harper and his backstory aspect of it to try to make him address it. And it's like, it was just nice because it was like, this feels like D&D very, very much so. And that moment down in the Underdark, when the sorcerer steps on the stone to like mess up, like that stuff happens all the time. You got to troubleshoot, you got to figure out a way around. And like, it was so funny because the way he was like, every odd one except for the fifth rock, you can't step on, you got to go left. And like, it reminds me of like how DMs kind of like overcomplicate like dungeons and stuff like that. And it's like so cerebral. And then in the end, you mess up anyway and you figure out a way around it. That's D&D.
Yeah.
That totally is. And so that was, I thought the Underdark part was really cool. Because it's also a familiar spot in D&D.
So I
have a quick question. Sorry. Is the movie like, is it like a Jumanji thing where they're like knowing that they're in a game?
No,
or is
no,
it just is
It's
the
just
world?
yeah.
Okay. I think that's probably better.
Yeah. It's just you're just go along for the ride basically. Yeah. But they do a lot of smart things where they'll mention things where if you're used to playing D&D, you're like, oh yeah, that's funny. Like even just from the get-go at the very beginning, they're like, he's basically pleading his case to get let out of prison, basically.
Funny.
And he's like, they're waiting for someone because they want him to come. And he's like,
Jonathan.
What is it? Jonathan?
Jonathan.
He's like, is Jonathan going to be here? Because he's missing my whole backstory. So it's like a backstory in D&D is like, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, this is my backstory. This is what I've done before. So like the fact that they just casually mention it, it's just like they do a lot of things like that. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's such a familiar thing where you're taken captive, you're in a jail, and you're making plans on what to do, and you could tell they had made so many plans to do this thing to escape. And it's like, it's so funny because they would have been released anyway, but like they still went through with the plan. It was just so funny, and it just fit so well with D&D, like just the general feel of it.
Yeah, and even going back to the paladin character, I can't remember his name, like Xanu or whatever, but just the fact that he's like didn't get humor. Like he's just perfectly like was a funny like character trait of like, oh, what are you talking about? Like taking everything so seriously.
Like, I was being ironic. He's like, I feel ironic. People who are ironic, it cuts them the most or something like that.
Them the deepest.
I was like, that's so funny.
But even like there's little jokes that I was like, it wasn't like a laugh out loud like, oh my gosh. But like even when he's like walking, he's like, man, he just walks in a straight line. Is he going to go around the rock? And he just goes over. That kind of stuff was just like really subtle, kind of just there, and then we're on to the next thing. I just thought it was really well written, and again, that comes back to like Chris Pine and his delivery on certain things. But I feel like each character kind of had, like even the mage character,
the sorcerer, he did the same thing. Like he had his own way of doing his own
his
stuff.
Jokes were all like kind of self-deprecating, like he has no confidence, and they kept going back to that, and it just. Like every time we'd make a mistake, we'd just be like, well, okay. Like it just really fit well because I feel like the characters were written well. And it goes back to even what you guys are saying. Like if different people are creating their own characters, you know, kind of they put their own personalities into it. And I just felt like the characters were so unique even in that aspect of things. Even the villain guy, who's played by Hugh Grant, it's like his character
Forge or something like that?
Forge.
His character was kind of like, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get this character throughout the whole thing. Yeah. And it made sense. And it was kind of, to me, it just really worked. Every character that they had in there. So like I said, it was one of those movies that I'm like, man, I'll watch it again. I mean, I might get it on Steelbook, you know, if Best Buy still does Steelbooks.
Yeah.
But I just think it was really enjoyable for me.
Yeah. I think that it really struck good levels of like, fun, and it reminded me of like just people having a good time, just like like being like their character, doing things that their character would do, and just trouble comes from that. And I love the idea, you know, later on in the story, kind of jumping ahead a little bit, where they have to figure out how to like break into this vault. And it's like the way they solved that reminded me so much of like a plan we would come up with, where they're like, oh yeah, we have this portal gun, it's like we can put it in a painting, and then like I thought all of that stuff was really like cool. The way they shot that was really good, and it all made sense. Yeah, like logically, I was like, if that's a portal, okay, yep. And then when they get in, and then the like painting falls down on the concrete, it's like that would like that's so perfect. And you got to roll with the punches. You got to figure out a way in. Yeah,
a lot of the stuff that was happening, I was like
kind of more of a heisty movie at that point. You know, it changed gears a little bit.
Yeah. A lot of the stuff that was happening in my mind, I was almost even thinking like, oh, he rolled low. You know what I mean? Like when they're trying to get in and they drop it and then they're trying to pull them back in.
Yeah, there's
it just seemed like a lot of like, I was like, oh, you know, well, he had to roll for that and he just rolled really low. And so now they have to, you know, roll against that to pull him back in and they have to figure it out. Yeah. It was just really fun. And I think a lot of the scenes looked really cool. Like, I really like how they shot that scene, and then even earlier on when the druid goes in as the fly and she's flying around,
turns into different animals. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, and she has to escape, and it's almost like a one shot following her out through. It was just just visually really.
And the owl really cool. bear was awesome.
Can I just do a quick PSA real quick, just to potential people who want to play D&D? Okay, druids are cool. But they cannot transform that many times. That is unreal. She transformed like 20 times. Unless she's a level 17 druid, in which case you can technically wild shape infinite amount of times, which is crazy. I don't think she was a level 17, but maybe she was.
I think she was.
But so, you know,
Just a little
rain down your
caveat.
expectations when you're playing D.
When you play a druid.
Also, Holga, her name, at the beginning, she took on like 6 dudes. That also is something that may or may not be feasible to do by yourself. You might get destroyed. So unless you roll super well, I guess constantly, which she apparently did.
Yeah.
That is also kind of crazy. So I'm just a PSA to all potential D&D
Don't want to get
players.
people's hopes up. Right?
Well, you can still swing for the fences. You can certainly try.
I also really liked the joke with
But it was cool. It was cool.
with Olga and her husband or ex-husband
With Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper as a tiny dude.
What the heck?
That was
Had to have been a halfling.
that was awesome to me, and just how like the new girl comes in, she's like also like really big, and then
She's bigger than her.
yeah. To me, I laughed at that more than I should have.
Yeah.
I just thought it was
so
really
weird.
good.
It was weird, but it was also funny.
Yeah, I don't know if it worked quite as well for me.
yeah.
I just thought it was funny seeing Bradley Cooper, like just the way Bradley Cooper was acting, like, oh, hey, how's it going?
He's like such a soft-hearted,
it was,
soft-spoken guy.
That was funny, but I did like the payoff at the end where she's looking at the other halfling and she's like bites her lip. You're like, oh, geez.
So you got a thing for small people, little people. Yeah, that was funny.
That was good. And then going back to your comment about the jokes in the trailer about the dead people. I thought that was one of the best parts of the movie.
That was
How
so
that
funny.
scene kept going and going, and how they had to figure out. And then
the
it was
other
showing
guy?
like the guy getting out of the tub. He's like, "That's my brother." Like that was to me was like one of the best parts of the movie.
That was very funny. That
Because
was
I
very
think
creative.
again the writing was really well done. It wasn't just like, and the actors again, Chris Pine, and how he delivered the questions or how he would ask something like that just really worked for me. And so that was one of the best parts of the movie.
I saw a lot of interviews for the directors and also the actors, and it's like you can tell just how the movie was done up, that they played and that they experienced it before they even wrote this game or this movie, and so you could just tell that love was taken and special like attention to detail was there, because understanding that spell, it's perfect. It worked perfectly. Nothing that happened was like inaccurate, which it doesn't really matter, but it's just so perfect to have such a funny, series of like the poor guy at the end, like, I need one more question. Like he's just stuck alive or undead alive. Like he just wanted to be asked one more question, but those moments don't happen unless you understand what the game is at its core. So it's cool to see that attention and that care taken to kind of bring this movie to a good level.
Yeah, and I think that was one of my favorite scenes as well. I think that's when it really kicked off for me, as like at that point I was like, oh, okay, I'm fully in. And I kind of agree with you, Corey. I wish they hadn't have shown. At first I was kind of bummed. I was like, oh, is that all we're going to get? But then it's like an extended sequence. And
sorry, I sent you guys that clip.
I know, jerk.
That's just a trailer.
But yeah, then it's like, that's a very easy joke to just like be tired of instantly. You know what I mean? Like it's I could see it happen in another movie where I'm like, oh, we're still carrying this joke out. Huh? Okay. And this is dragging on, but just, I think it's a credit to the writing.
Yeah.
They switched it up. They did different things.
No, and they did the flashbacks.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I think was so good. They'd flashback to how they died.
Yeah.
And then you just saw the guy get out of the tub, knock his head on the ground, and he died like before the battle even started. That was hilarious. No, was that my brother or something like that?
Yeah, but that just the way that sequence was written was really well done.
Yeah. So I think we sung its praises, I think, enough. Some things I didn't like. I think that just to kind of cap off the reason why it's not into that 8, 9-ish is I thought there's a little bit of an issue with. I think Forge was one of the weakest characters. I think he was okay. But you know how Chris Pine felt very natural and the lines almost came from him. His felt more generic. And then also I felt like the threat was weak. It felt weaker of a threat. I don't think he was as evil as I thought he should be. Like he kind of was a soft, like he wasn't as like evil as he should have been. I know that the sorcerer or the wizard was the real bad guy.
Yeah.
But she was so generically plain that it's like, yeah, she's just the pure evil. Yeah, she's the bad guy, but there's no like connection threat. I wish that they threatened Kira, I think her name is Kira, her daughter, his daughter. I wish that her life was at risk or something like that, like more. I mean, I know he held a knife to her, but like with the sorcerer, I wish there was something a little more personal happening at the end. I wish that's the only thing that fell flat. Not fell flat, but it was just not as intense or exciting, the ending for me. And also the fact I think I got a little biased because I know that she was at least a level 17 sorcerer. I know I'm being a little dumb here because she casts a 9th level spell, which is time stop, which is so insane. So I was like, there's no way these scrubs could take down a level 17 sorceress. I know that sounds super nerdy and stupid, but we are called the Nerd Age. And we all call it Nerd Age, okay?
That's right.
So
never apologize.
So I will say that is the reason why it's not an 8-9 is because of the end / like the bad guy. I'm such a bad guy. Like I'm so into like the payoff at the end and good versus evil, but like that was just too clean cut, I guess, and too black and white for me. I wish there's a little more to it.
How does it work? So, you're saying like she should be a higher level, so they wouldn't have been able to do it. But how does that kind of work out?
It's just a little.
No, but I'm saying like
irk to me.
How does it work out with like you have 4 characters going up against one? Does that kind of change the dynamic at all?
For sure.
But you're saying they weren't leveled up enough to.
So if we want to get into technicalities of this, I know we don't have a ton of time, but with a source or with a wizard, the problem with wizards are they're super squishy is what we call them. They don't have a lot of health and they don't have a high armor amount. So they're easy to hit and they die quick, but they hit freaking hard. So when she's casting these meteors from the sky, I think that's Meteor Swarm, which is also another 9th level spell, which is like insanity. If any of those hit, they'd be done.
Which none of them did. Okay, guys.
He cast shield and blocked it. It's not a roll. Okay, I don't want to get into this because it's stupid, but like
we are the Nerd Age, bro.
That should just kill them.
Yeah,
that should be the end of it. But it's for good storytelling. The spells look sick. That's one of the coolest things is her hand, her like almost like demonic hand versus his like.
That was
Earth
cool.
and Grasp. I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's like some dude's name, Earth and Grasp or something like that. And those are fighting. That was a cool moment. I love the meteors falling on the side. They just look cool. And then the horn. I can't remember, Horn of Horus or something like that. Whatever the horn was. Those are real items. Those are real things in D&D. Not in real life. It's not a real thing in real life. Wow. But just D&D, so all the things of like turning people undead and like raising an army with that horn, those are all accurate things. So that is cool. Yeah. So it was very cool. I really enjoyed it, but those are little things at the end that kind of took me out and I wasn't as invested. So those are my only complaints.
Yeah, I do agree. I think for me, Forge, I think was fine because he seemed like he was kind of doing his own, like he was in it for himself. Like that's fine. I do agree with the sorceress. She was pretty just like straight laced, like I'm evil because I'm evil.
Because I'm a red mage, red wizard.
And so they didn't really give us much of a reasoning behind it. It was just like, oh, I'm a red mage, so that's that's what I'd be doing,
And I assume she was some kind of lich by the look at her, so pure evil. Like there's nothing else there. Like, I don't know. Maybe if there's something connecting her to something else to kind of see maybe her drive. And
I think the problem was, with the paladin character, when the other guys show up, there's like a recognition between them. They're like, oh, I can't, like they know each other.
Yeah.
And so like, you're kind of more invested. You're like, oh, there's a backstory here. They know each other somehow. And he fights them off. But then we don't have that connection at the end with her. She's just like,
there's no payoff from that moment. Yeah.
Well, I betrayed you guys before.
Well, that's it. You only got a quick kind of like really quick backstory of what happened before kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think if they would have had more of that throughout the movie where you see more, that would have worked a little better. But it just kind of seemed like generic bad.
Yeah. This is me just picking apart. It's still high, like almost an 8 for me. And it was really enjoyable. And I respect that they tried to keep it like really accurate. Very cool. I don't know exactly what was going on with, I can't remember his name, the sorcerer, the guy on their team sorcerer. What was his name?
Is it Simon?
Simon. Yeah, Simon. I don't know. He had this device that he was spinning. So I first thought that he was a wild sorcerer. Wild sorcerers, every time they cast any spell, and this could be the reason why, he wasn't so good. Every time you cast a spell as a wild sorcerer, there is a chance for you to fail and also cast a random weird spell or like hurt yourself or make yourself levitate on accident. Like,
well, that's what he does at the beginning.
Right. So I'm like, was that him like spinning the dial of the wild magic? So that might have been it. I didn't know if you need components for each spell, like dust or diamond or whatever to like spell cast. I don't know if that was it.
I don't know.
I wasn't too sure, but I thought it was cool visually. It looked cool. What?
Well, no, I like the joke where he's like, "You smell that? Fresh grass."
Fresh cut grass. And that was a reference to Critical Role, actually.
And everyone's like, "You're the one. What is this? You're the worst."
Dude, that was dope. He's collecting all their jewels, dude. That was dope. But yeah, there were some cool references. Like I think we said before, there was the reference to the 80s cartoon. And then Fresh Cut Grass is a character, like a robot character from Critical Role. And I know that he watches Critical Role, so that was a cool little addition. And there's little things here and there. But yeah, really fun.
Yeah, last thing I'll say is I think why I liked it is because I feel like at the end, the emotional beat.
Oh, that was good, yeah.
I thought it worked really good. And like the whole time is...
That's a good message,
he's
too.
I'm trying to revive my wife.
Yeah.
The daughter never knew her, and then it was kind of like that shot where then it shows all the moments where Olga was raising the kid.
Yeah.
To me, that worked really well, and I was like, oh, it actually feels like it's not just rushed. It's you've actually earned it because she's been through the whole movie kind of. So to me, that really worked, and I think that's why I give it such a high score because that moment hit well for me. If that would have been done poorly, it would have been like, it didn't land, but that really landed for me. So
nice.
That's why I think that was really worked out.
Odds of getting a second one?
I think it depends.
I think they'll do a second one.
Think so?
I think it'll depend on how the box office goes.
Yeah, the final number.
They're going to have to get a bit more. And Mario's coming out, so that might dent it a little bit. But cool. I hope it gets a second one.
Me too. I think that they could do well to do that. And it'd also be nice to see maybe if they can get the Paladin in it a little bit more. That'd be fun because I think the kind of dueling personalities with the straight-laced lawman versus the charismatic joke quippy guy, I think that was really good.
Yeah.
Really good. But.
Sweet. Well, yeah. Let us know what you thought of, if you've seen it, let us know what you thought of the movie. If you haven't seen it, I would recommend it. I think it's a lot of fun. It looks really good on the big screen, so it's a good time. So you can go and watch that. I would recommend it. We're going to move on to the next thing, which is let's do Mando. So we've got an episode of Mando that we're going to discuss. So yeah, let's just go right into it. What did you guys think? Mick hasn't said anything since he didn't watch D&D, so we're going to start with him. What did you think of the Mando episode this week?
Oh, man, it was a great episode. As much as I've enjoyed the episodes up to this point, this episode really felt like the story of this season is starting, and we're getting like, oh, this is who probably the bad guy is for sure, and we're getting some really interesting stuff with Bo-Katan and the Armorer, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it had some really great action, and
was it the action that was the most interesting for you, or like the most fun that made this episode good, or was it like the combination of kind of?
I think it was the combination. I think if it was just the action, I would have felt a little like, oh, action is fun and good.
It was good action, though. It
was great action, but I felt like this was like the kind of now or never for this season to like, hey, we need to I need some direction here.
Yeah.
And the fact that we got both was like, great. That's awesome.
And speaking of the action, I think this season has had probably because, his new Starfighter just looks so good on screen. But the dog fighting that they've done in this season has been really good.
The pirate ship looked freaking dope. Dude, that custom paint job.
And it's been, I think, some of the best
looked like Destiny.
Dogfighting spaceship battles in Star Wars, like compared even to the movies. So that's been really good. And I just think it looks so good. I mean, the Naboo fighter, the N1 Starfighter, looks so cool, and it chromed out is just like it just looks so good. So I thought, the action was really good. And I also, like you said, the stuff they're doing with Bo-Katan is really working for me. And I know people are complaining like, well, no, it seems like Bo-Katan's the main character. I was like, yes, like you follow different. It's about.
It's called the Mandalorian, Jonah.
But yeah, we're not.
And
sure,
she's a Mandalorian,
we're not
bro.
sure who it's referring
One
to.
size fits all, bro.
So I just think this whole aspect of like
The armorer is the main character from now on. Like she
No.
just takes over.
But it drives
This is
me
the way.
crazy. It's like they're telling a whole story that involves a lot of people. Like you can follow these characters. If you didn't follow certain characters,
Yes, the
things
Mandalorian,
wouldn't
not
feel-
Mandalorians, Jonah.
Certain things wouldn't feel like they land. And so you need to have Bo-Katan go through this whole story for it to work in the end.
When she
So-
betrays
No,
Jin.
hey, by the way, let me tell I'm going to say one thing
Don't
right
be
now.
so angry.
I'm going to
Jeez,
say
don't
one
raise
thing
your
right
voice.
now. I'm going to say one thing right now. Because I know what Josh is doing. I know what Josh is going to do.
Go ahead, tell me.
See, I think they're setting up that Bo-Katan may try to duel Din for the Darksaber. And in that moment, Josh's going to say, see, I told you, she's the antagonist. But no. That doesn't mean she's the antagonist. That's a Mandalorian tradition. Just because she's going to duel Din for the Darksaber doesn't make her the villain of the season. So I'm just pulling that out because I know that's what he's got. He's got tucked under his back. He's going to, in his sleeve.
Oh my
Thea was
gosh.
right. You were
How
wrong.
predictable. How predictable. He's never going to admit that he's wrong.
No, she's not the antagonist.
He's figuring out slowly that he's wrong.
Yeah, exactly. He's going, oh, well, can't do that.
The nice thing is we'll let Corey and Mick decide if she was the antagonist of the season.
We have the power.
Yes, we are.
They will
unbiased,
have the
truly, truly.
Because we know
We're the
Moff
wise
Gideon
ones.
is going to be, the last 3 episodes are going to
Yeah.
be about him being the antagonist.
It just feels late. I don't know why, but it feels late game.
I mean, 3 episodes left is all we got. So
I hope they're longer episodes. Maybe
Next
that make it
one's
feel
44
more
minutes.
fitting.
That's pretty good.
Okay, I mean, that was like how the last one.
41.
Was, right? Okay.
This one's 44, and it's Bryce Dallas Howard's episode.
ooh, so you know it's a
Let's
banger.
go.
Let's go. I don't know the guy.
Ron Howard's daughter.
Oh,
Woman.
wow, that's sick. Yeah, so I hope that these next episodes get us sold on him because I think how many episodes are we in? 5.
We got 3 left.
Yeah, this is the 5th, so we got 3 left to go.
It's a lot of
It's the end game. We gotta.
I hope it really knocks it out of the park on these last 3. It's been great so far, in my opinion. Honestly, I heard that the streaming numbers aren't so great in this season.
They're the lowest, I think.
Yeah, so it's kind of a bummer. Hopefully, these
I don't know
last
if they're
episodes.
lowest.
I
what I
heard.
heard.
I heard it was.
I saw that they're not lowest. They're a little higher than last season's, but they're lower than Obi-Wan.
Yeah, they're definitely lower than Obi-Wan. But I heard it was lower.
That's what I heard.
Anyway, I mean, it was just a headline.
That's what I heard.
Bo told you.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, I'm interested to see how it goes. Because I hope it's like what I assume is going to happen is he's going to come up and then they're going to get sniff of uniting of Mandalorians, and then hopefully the Mandalorians fight back and they unite over this last battle or something like that. Something like that happens. I don't know if it's going to happen on Mandalore, but I don't know.
Maybe.
I bet they're going back.
Yeah, I think so too. So at the end of the episode, we get the tease that Moff Gideon has been rescued, and they do this whole thing where it's like, there's Mandalorian alloy there.
It's a total setup.
So they
right?
say, well, no, I think they're wanting you to think that Bo-Katan and the people that she used to be with got him out. I think there's 2 options. I think one is Moff Gideon is actually a Mandalorian, which I think that's going to be, I think that's a no-brainer, really, because how did you know everything about the
He'd look
Darksaber?
sweet in a like blacked out Mando.
Yeah, he
armor.
would look good. So
I mean, he looks good in like a chicken suit. Selling chicken at a chicken restaurant. He looks good in anything. That guy's bad A.
But I think he's
Good actor,
it's going to
too.
be revealed that he's actually a Mandalorian who betrayed Mandalore to work with the Empire, because that's happened. The Super Commandos, right? Is that what they're called? So I think he's going to be one of those. That's why he knows about the Darksaber. That's why he has all that stuff. So I think that they're trying to make you think it's that. Or here's the other option. Sabine and Ahsoka captured him, although that wouldn't make sense because they killed people.
Then he breaks
but
out
I think
again.
that would be kind of cool if they're trying to get him out to be like interrogate him to find out where Thrawn is. That would be a cool setup to the Ahsoka show coming out. But I don't think so. That was just kind of like an idea, but I'm like, it looks like there were guys that were killed, and I don't think they would kill people.
This is what's happening.
And it was pretty like brutal too.
Yeah.
How they did it.
They broke him out and they captured him, and then we're going to reveal that Bo-Katan's actually the villain. It was a red herring all the time. So you're right, Jonah. No, I do. It does seem kind of like a setup.
It just seems too perfect.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It seems like it could probably be a setup to be like, oh, let's get eyes on the Mandalorian, so distract them, and then Moff Gideon can come in. Or Bo-Katan's been lying to us the whole time, and her homies that abandoned her were out looking for Moff Gideon. She's playing the long game here, guys.
It's just
Villain of the story.
I don't really know what the purpose of that would be. I'm just saying it so I can.
No, it's Gideon's.
I thought it was a setup.
Yeah.
Like just because of it's Beskar, right? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Right. So
Beskar doesn't break easily. Like it's really hard. Like the only thing that breaks it is other Beskar and like lightsabers, right?
No, lightsabers don't even.
Oh, that's right. It's anti-lightsaber.
Yeah.
That's
that
right.
spear.
So it's like, bro, like how did
How did it break off in there?
And it looked weird. I don't know.
It just
looked like a setup to
convenient.
me. Yeah,
I don't know.
same. Yeah, and it's just so tough. I don't know.
I think it's what they're setting up is they wanted you to think, oh, Bo-Katan or somebody. But I think it's
They're gonna doubt the
there's a
relationship
group of
or something.
There's a group of Gideon supporters that are Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be revealed he's Mandalorian. I just think that would make sense for the story to then, because you're having Bo-Katan
'cause there's
go
so many
out
different
across the
tribes.
galaxy
Yeah.
and unite the Mandalorians, and then realize there's a faction of them that are working with the Empire that
Bad
are
boys.
traitors,
Bad boys.
and to have Mandos versus Mandos be the kind of finale, I think would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, because in the Rebels, you get the super commandos with Gar Saxon that work for the Empire. So it would make sense if they're out there and they come and get them. That would be cool.
Do you think it's the same people that bombed Bo-Katan's castle place?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she makes the comment. She's like, where she's like, this is too many ships for a warlord. I think it's going to be like, no, Moff Gideon has a whole army. Or I know people say I'm crazy, but if they could connect Thrawn in any way, or not Thrawn necessarily, but the we still don't know much about the girl in season 2 that Ahsoka fights. That she asks, "Where's Thrawn?"
Oh,
so
yeah,
she
at that village or whatever.
Yeah.
So obviously she's got something. So could she be even working with Gideon and doing something like that?
Did she kill that?
We don't know what happened. Nothing. We just saw that was
we didn't see the end though.
No, she just asked, "Where's Thrawn?"
You don't think that
we
was
never
a
saw anything
setup
else.
for her show? I thought that's what
Yes, but I'm saying if it could connect to this as well.
Maybe. I mean, I would love for a crossover because they've already done it a couple times with that past season.
These next 2 episodes are just going to be some other character besides
Boba Fett, hopefully.
No, but they're gonna. I actually think we're gonna get Fen Rao in this.
That's the rumor.
Because I think you're gonna have him as a well-known Mando that's around. I think this is where you're gonna get Boba Fett.
Remind me, who's that again?
Fen Rao was in Rebels and the Clone Wars.
Was it red armor?
No, he has blue armor. But
blue armor.
The guy that
the other guy,
Gar Saxon, has the red armor.
That's who. Yeah.
Fen Rao shows up in Rebels.
He helps Sabine take back Mandalore or get back the Darksaber, basically.
Yeah. Okay.
So he's around in this time, and so I think you're going to get Casca Reeves, like the people that left Bo-Katan, and I think this is where you're going to get Boba Fett back. So I think we're going to have the next episode is where Bo-Katan is going to go around the galaxy searching and getting all the Mandalorians together. I think that's what this next episode is, with also setting up
that's
Gideon
what
at the end.
doing. Yeah.
So I think it's going to be kind of a cool episode to see who are they going to bring in? Are we going to see are we going to see Sabine in this next episode? Because she's around technically. Would we go to Lothal and find Sabine? Because technically, I think what they said is the end of Rebels hasn't happened yet.
Right.
So she's still on Lothal. Could we get that? We got Zeb in this episode.
I mean, I think we get Sabine eventually.
Yeah.
If not this
She's
episode,
already been cast.
this season.
Yeah.
The end of Rebel. What?
The end of Rebels hasn't happened yet. So when Ahsoka shows up
Time frame
to go look for Ezra,
Right.
that hasn't happened.
They haven't
yet.
specified what time that takes place. So it's after Return of the Jedi at some point.
Somewhere after this, I think.
Because I think even Dave Filoni said she's wearing a different outfit and she has a staff when she picks up Sabine. She didn't have that outfit or the staff when she was in Mando season 2. Yeah, so that hasn't.
I told you to take his staff.
So that'll be kind of cool.
Don't worry about it.
Any other thoughts on Mando? I thought the pirates were cool. People complain about the look of the pirate because it's too on the nose, but I'm like, there's even the Smee character.
Even the music in the intro was like had a little like shanty, little pirate shanty.
Yeah, no, I love their character design. It was awesome.
Whatever, dude. Get out of here. Give me weird looking dudes. I love that.
Yeah,
it's Star Wars, bro.
Have you ever watched a Star Wars before?
I love how those little homies in the tree were like, they're right they're over there. They're around the corner, homie.
Yeah, all the Mandalorian action.
It's a trap.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I know we saw that scene in the trailer, but when they drop out from the ship was freaking awesome.
Yeah,
and then just them going through and I thought that was awesome action.
Nitpick time. I did laugh a little bit when they're in the alley and they're like, we're surrounded or we're trapped, and I'm like, you guys got rocket packs. Just fly up.
No, but they showed you that guy jumped up and he got blasted immediately.
But, I'm still it's not like they were really trapped. It's like, hey.
Yeah. I'm with you. That was the only scene that felt small.
Yeah.
Like a small, very enclosed.
They should have put a roof on the top to then be like, hey, see, they can't use their rockets.
Yeah. Or it disables all their rockets.
Or they should have been like, we're out of fuel.
Yeah, we're out of fuel. Oh, no.
Empty. Oh, man. Wow. But no, I think overall it was really good. I love that. The dog fighting and stuff. That was perfect.
Yeah, there's a shot. I think it's Bo-Katan's ship when she flies through and she flies through the explosion and it's like facing her cockpit. I'm like, they do a lot of like POV shots. They've done all this season.
Tom
it looks
Cruise.
awesome. I know that's what I was gonna say. Thank you, Maverick, for showing us we can do this. No one's ever done it before.
I also like
she really flew that. Yeah.
I also
and stuff.
liked the line or the joke where it was like, he's above you, and he shoots the guy. He's like, he's below you, and he kills that guy. I was just like, this is awesome. I know we say Han Solo or Poe or Anakin are the best flyers, and the pilots in the galaxy. I'm like, nah, Din is he's up there, right?
I think he has a broken ship. I think it's overpowered because it has so much acceleration. He like out corners everyone, and he can just do whatever he wants, dude. Honestly, in the hands of Han Solo, I don't think anyone would be a match.
That is true.
But yeah, he is very good. He is very good.
I thought Zeb looked awesome.
Oh, Zeb looked
great. That was a really good, really good CGI.
And Dave Filoni was in that scene too.
Yeah, was he in the background?
Right? Yeah, he's with Deborah Chow and
Rick Famuyiwa.
And
they're sitting at the bar. Yeah,
nice.
It took me a second.
I was just staring at Zeb, dude.
Yeah, because
I was like, they changed the color of his skin to like naturalize him to make him fit more into the world and not be as purple, basically.
What happened was we were watching the episode. One of the dogs had to go to the bathroom, so we paused it. And Crystal took Anakin to the bathroom, and I could see in the background. I was like, his mouth, and I was like, wait a second, is that Zeb? And then when we played it, we were like, it took us a while because we were like, that's Zeb, right?
He's not the right color, but it's Zeb.
Is that Zeb? Yeah. That's got to be Zeb. Voice, It was like, it sounds just like him. Yeah. And then like the whole time we were like, and then finally in the credits, I was like, yep, okay, yeah, it was that for sure. He looked awesome. And I think that's where the CGI budget for Marvel
Disney?
went.
Probably.
They're like, we're going to really do good on Zeb and screw everything else.
Yeah. Why does this show look better than Ant-Man and the Wasp and the other Marvel movies that came out?
Well,
it's insane.
Well, because it's Lucasfilm is in-house as they're doing all the CGI in-house.
Well, yeah, but still,
they probably had a lot more time to work on this than
I guess that's true.
Because I think with those Marvel movies, they're like laying down the tracks when the train's like right behind them. I think they're pretty stressed.
And then they just outsource everything to like whatever studio.
Yeah, all those studios are just complaining about the turnover time. It's just like way too fast, and they're being rushed.
And they're also better. Lucasfilm's better.
Well, absolutely. The lady from Marvel that got fired, she had a quote that she said one of the directors was complaining about something about saying something about directing the movie, and her quote was, "You don't direct the movies, we direct the movies." So it was like, well,
Yikes.
yeah, that's no wonder they all
Power
look
trip.
the same. Anyways, I think we're done with Mando, right?
Yeah.
We good?
I will say, Jon Favreau, I think just a little bit ago, just a little bit ago, talked about how we're like halfway through the Mando story. So there's theoretically like
Time jump.
2
10
more,
years.
3 more seasons, maybe.
We'll see. That'd be cool.
Wild.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah, we'll see where it leads because I like what they're doing so far. Make sure you come back next week because we're getting down to the final stretch.
Yeah, these episodes are going to be hype.
Yeah, and
sure.
also Star Wars Celebration is this weekend, so we're going to get news on a lot of stuff. So next week we're going to have a lot of Star Wars news. So make
It'll
sure
be
you're
a
back.
super deluxe podcast.
Exactly, super deluxe. That's makes me hungry. Super deluxe Zipsburger. Anyways, so we are going to move on.
Another sponsor.
We are going to move on to the season finale of The Bad Batch, which I think we got it
cracked
right.
the case,
We
baby.
cracked the case.
Yeah, we're pretty good, guys.
so,
I
yeah.
called it like exactly.
Who wants to start? Let's go, Corey. What'd you think of the season finale?
Great. I think it pacing was super on point. I didn't think anything dragged on. Everything kind of played out how we kind of called it.
Yeah.
We knew that what's her face was going to sell him out.
Yeah.
Sid.
I even called exactly that Tech was going to leave us. We don't know confirmed if he's dead, but I'm going to be honest, that was a long fall.
No.
Yeah.
But it was great. It hit really well for me.
Yeah.
Like emotionally, the whole thing
was-
was perfect. Especially that like last talk that they had before they left with his interest. And
As soon as that happened,
Just
I was like, he's dead for
dude,
sure.
yeah, and it, like they spent a lot of time on it. I was like, oh yeah,
Yeah, that was
I'm
rough.
right. Okay,
Yeah.
but it was you got the kind of in and out heist kind of feel, classic Star Wars, and you got to see everyone. We got to see Saw Gerrera.
Yeah.
Like
cool.
that was crazy.
what a
It's
punk,
like,
dude.
wait, the security is disabled. And the moment they said that, I was like, oh shoot, someone's here. Who are we gonna see? I didn't know who we were gonna see.
Yeah.
I was really looking forward to that, and it was Saw Gerrera, so that makes sense.
The cool thing about that is I completely forgot that he was in the first episode of the season.
Yeah.
So when
It's so
I was
long
like,
ago.
oh my gosh, it's
Yeah.
true. So that was kind of a cool kind of bookends kind of thing to be like, oh, he's been doing stuff around.
Yeah, it does throw me a little bit because his voice is so different from the theatrical
Yeah.
version of him. It's so it is so different.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to like believe it, but it's fine.
Yeah.
And he looks
cool.
completely different.
He
In
looks
Rebels,
cool.
he looks like Forrest Whitaker,
Yeah.
and this
Yeah.
he looks
He
like
still
the
looks
Clone
like he
Wars,
does in Clone Wars.
Yeah,
So.
I wonder why they did that. Maybe they don't want to lock it to a person's
Yeah, I think that's what I think.
visual?
They're staying within like
generic.
they're
I
staying
think
in like
Bad
Clone
Batch-
Wars.
Oh,
Bad
Bad
Batch
Batch is
design.
connected to Clone Wars,
And
so
then
you
they're
gotta
like-
have that design.
They're like Rebels
was
as connected to Rogue One and the
I
other
just wish
stuff.
I'm gonna be honest. I wish it sounded more. The voice actor tried a little more to.
Well,
be
I
a
think
little
they're
more
also
similar.
bridge it a little
I think
bit.
they're
I thought he
also
has a very
saying
unique voice.
I think they're also saying that
Not as extreme though.
part of it is they're saying that,
Is that 'cause of
if
his
he gets to a
respirator?
certain point and he gets hurt and has a respirator, so that's what changed.
Okay,
Does he lose both of his legs too?
I don't know if he uses his legs, but he has like there's gas that he has to like.
mechanical feet or something.
Maybe I think one.
Maybe
He has,
one,
like, a
maybe
Spider
one.
legs.
But yeah, he gets beat up. That's why
Darth
I
Maul's
think
not
they're
using
saying
these
there's a
Okay,
there's
just
a
battle
difference.
torn.
I think it's in a book. Isn't it in a book where he gets like?
I don't know if they mention it yet.
okay.
Anyways, we're supposed
All
to see
right.
that because in Rebels
That
he has like some respirator stuff.
Yeah,
in his army.
yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was interesting. I think, like you're saying, it hit emotionally for me. I kind of teared up a little bit when
At the end,
the
with,
music, when
Brecker's like, "Don't do it."
he's like, "Don't do it." He's like, "When have we ever followed orders?" That line was
was good.
awesome.
and it was really framed really well too. I will say,
Yeah.
good job.
Really
Yeah.
well done.
With the shot in the glass and the angle at which he fell and stuff, it looked really cool.
It was really cool. So I
Your goosebumps.
the
a little
music
bit
was
for
there,
me.
and
not
then-
tears, goosebumps.
when they go through and she's kind of like you're getting her like shooting and she's kind of like in and out
Going
of
in
it.
and out.
Yep,
That
yep,
was
yep,
really
yep,
cool.
yep,
And
yep.
then I also cheered up at the part where she like remembers. It's like, "Where's Tech?"
Yeah.
That conversation she has with Hunter.
Yeah.
And how Wrecker reacts. That I just thought was really good.
Yeah.
And the music just when it's the right music, it just enhances everything. So the Kind of Brothers doing a great job.
really
So
good.
I really liked how they did it, and it really hit for me.
What a cool set piece too. The train track thing.
That was cool.
That set the tension and the stress like so well with them trying to reattach it and like having to make a sacrifice there, which I was wrong. I didn't think he was gonna make any type of sacrifice, but he could still be alive, maybe not.
Yeah, that's
And
what
they could clone him again.
Why don't you guys ever give me credit, dude? I called that.
Yeah,
Cut and dry, dude. Give me credit.
Yeah,
Give me one credit.
one credit.
Thank you.
In your bank account.
Darth Maul survived being cut in half, so
Right.
it's not
The
beyond the realm of possibility.
I feel like the only thing about it is like I don't know because they do stuff with Crosshair with like maybe he died and then he's still alive or something.
I don't know if they necessarily did it.
Remembering that.
I don't think to that point.
Okay.
I mean, if cartoons have taught us anything, branches, bro, they break falls pretty good.
Yeah, and also
giant
somehow
that just catches.
Somehow Palpatine returned. So why couldn't
For sure.
Somehow
no
tech
death
returns.
is real.
The only thing that makes me a little suspicious is the fact that the bad dude grabbed the
glasses.
goggles.
Yeah.
That just seemed a little like. I feel like if he actually died, they wouldn't have showed something like that. I don't know.
The moment I saw that, I was like, oh, so that means they found his goggles. Did they put him in like a cloning?
Yeah.
I mean, they could take him to like Mount Tantus and throw him in a tube and be like, oh,
Oh my gosh, Tech is Snoke. Holy crap. Confirmed.
Because I mean, that bad
but-
guy dude has been like very like specific too about like I want as many clone bodies as I can so I can do whatever experiment stuff.
I get what you're saying for sure. But the question is, would Dave Filoni do that?
I don't know.
Has Dave Filoni done that in the past? Is what you have to judge it off of. I don't think he's a guy to takes these backsies.
Yeah.
I mean, they brought back Maul. He brought back Maul.
Yeah.
But he didn't do the first Maul death.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I guess Echo. We didn't know where he was, and then he was kept alive. I honestly, I hope they don't bring him back.
Me too, because I think it.
I
you
feel
ripped the Band-Aid off.
It was so.
It's great.
It was
it's
so
meaningful
effective.
and it was emotional. It was great.
I think that's kind of what I was saying. Like I feel like it's just over and over again. Like maybe let it lie.
Yeah, and that way you can bring back Crosshair.
To
rescue him in the third, and then he realizes Tech died to help him because Tech's the one that was really like, we got to go back for. He's our brother.
Yeah.
So that to me is like that's a way to bring Crosshair back in.
Yeah.
So I hope they don't.
I just feel bad for that voice actor. Like he's out of a job now.
I mean, it's the same guy.
It's a joke. It's a joke.
It's a joke, guys.
Joke. Come on.
Okay. He's got.
Well, actually, yeah. No, I thought.
But it is Star Wars. You're right.
they might come back.
I think we'll get a tease at Celebration.
Yeah,
when they announce season 3 of the Bad Batch. I think we'll get Dave Filoni or someone being like, "Well, he could." Like if he says like, "Well, I mean, people have come back," then I'm like, "Oh, he's coming back."
Yeah.
He better come back with spider legs, though.
Yeah.
That would be sick.
Yeah.
Or a mech eye or something.
Yeah.
Like instead of goggles, he has like.
Yeah.
Like
he turns into that guy in
what
Mandalorian.
if he's just like a Roger, like a droid head?
No, he looks
on
like
his
the
body.
droid from Power Rangers. Big UFO head. You see the circuits inside of his head. Alpha. That's right.
No,
Dude, nice. He got it.
That's
he
Alpha.
turns into that
Oh, so
weird
good,
like
dude.
eyeball guy from Mandalorian.
Yeah, that's
a
what he
couple
is.
episodes ago.
That's
sick.
shoot,
There we
that'd
go.
be crazy.
It's all connected.
Anything else on the Bad Batch? I feel like there's not.
I thought it was cool seeing Krennic was cool.
Yeah, that was cool. Tarkin, Krennic.
Yeah, getting that whole dynamic. Yeah, seeing Saw. I mean, Saw's the reason Tech is dead. So thanks a lot, Saw.
Yep.
And then I thought the reveal at the end that did you say that before? Did you call that they're clones? You said that was.
I did. I said they were clones. I said they were connected to Dr. Pershing.
Oh, so you were wrong then. Okay.
Yeah.
They weren't a clone from
that
Omega.
Could still happen though.
Well, and
So Pershing is Jango Fett clone?
but that was a
Doesn't
question.
look like Jango Fett.
Does any of the other Bad Batch look like Jango Fett?
More than Dr. Pershing.
Wrecker looks nothing like Jango Fett.
Yes, he does.
He just looks like he got in a wreck.
Hunter looks nothing like. Texas looks nothing like.
I just got his
I'm
name.
just saying.
It's Wrecker, but it looks like he got in a wreck.
Pershing.
Picture Dr. Pershing right now in your mind.
He's brown.
Okay.
We're good. That's half the battle.
No.
Wow.
But anyway,
it's animation.
that was an interesting reveal to be like, oh, she's we're sisters.
But that was also a question we asked like in season 1, like who was she freaking cloned from? Like we don't see any clones that look like her at all. So that was kind of interesting. It's kind of cool to start learning a little more about it.
Are they all still from
Yeah, I think they're
Django,
from Django. Yeah,
in some way?
I think so. Right?
They don't say it.
I think they do because they make it a point to be like she's the unaltered one, just like Boba Fett was.
Right. I think they mention it in season 1 or 2, and that's the whole thing is she's alpha, or no,
She's Omega. He's Alpha.
Omega.
Yeah.
But it's just weird.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what they're. It'll be interesting to see what they're doing with it because obviously they're setting up Snoke, Palpatine kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to go into Mando, and even though people are upset about that, but
It's whatever.
Bridge the universe, you got to.
I will say for a show that is based around a group of people that aren't like the classical like main characters from Star Wars, I think this show has been really, really interesting, and it's filling in missing parts of the story that I didn't really think that I wanted to know, but it's been really compelling, and I've really been enjoying the show. So
Yeah, I thought it was really good.
I'm sure we'll get something about season 3 probably at
Yeah, this weekend. I think Saturday is the Bad Batch panel or something like that. So we should be getting an Ahsoka trailer, or if people there will get it. Who knows if we'll see
John
it.
will watch it on his
Someone will leak it.
recorded from a phone.
Yeah.
A flip
Of course. But yeah, let us know what you thought about the Bad Batch. Did you enjoy it? Maybe you haven't even watched it. If you haven't, we recommend it, right? All 4 of us would recommend watching that.
If you like Star Wars, yeah.
I think Star Wars
fan.
I think Star Wars animation has done amazing with emotional storytelling. So check that out. We're going to go on to the next thing, which is just kind of, again, a smattering of news.
It's just
I think it's called Nerd News Roundup.
Yeah, Nerd News
Roundup.
That's
good.
We're just going to kind of...
More of that.
If you have something, bring it up. But I'm going to start with this.
Okay.
Because this is what I'm super excited for.
Yeah.
We got a 10-minute gameplay of Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh, we did.
Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. And let me tell you, I cannot wait for this game. I think it's going to be awesome. I said from the beginning, it has to do with the Zonai. If you played Breath of the Wild, the Zonai culture is there, and there's like mysteries about it, and you don't really find anything about it. But now it's confirmed when you're up on the sky platforms, sky islands. It's Zonai technology. It's Zonai people, robots you're killing. So that's really cool. I think it's going to set up some really cool stuff, some new gameplay aspects of things where you can build your own machines, cars, all that kind of stuff. Looks really cool. So I really like the idea of even like fusing weapons together, like putting a boulder on a stick and putting like that to me was pretty awesome. So I'm like, hey, I'm ready for this. I'm ready for moving more forward in the Zelda universe as far as like different gameplay. I think Zelda always does a really good job of keeping some familiar things, but also expanding it. So I am really excited. I love Breath of the Wild. I think it's one of the best Zelda games, and I'm so excited for Tears of the Kingdom. So I just needed to get that off my chest. Anybody else watch it? Anybody else?
Man, can I just say this? I don't like the fact that everything's consumable in that game, where it's like you don't actually have it. Like you break it and like you get rid of it. So like if you wanted to shoot an arrow that's heat seeking, you put the eyeball on it.
That was
and
cool.
Then there's your eyeball. It's gone. Like it makes sense logically. Like you put the eyeball on it, it's gone. It's just I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I don't know. And the fact that you like weapons break, you get a really cool weapon and then it breaks.
Yeah, that's
Man,
You can find that weapon again.
Is there any news on like maybe they get a blacksmith? You know, homies just start repairing.
no. I mean, you got to make them stronger. You put a rock. You glue a rock to it,
You
bro.
just stab a boulder, dude, and then you just swing a boulder at a
exactly.
homie.
Yeah,
I mean, I like the potential of combining things
Yeah.
and kind of seeing what they do, like the freezing arrows.
Like I want to do a meat
that.
arrow. I was like, why didn't you put a steak on the end of that?
And that guy looks hungry, dog.
Yeah, like no, but I
Open up.
What if
I
you
need
could
to
do
feed
that
my
and shoot
enemies.
it at some guy, and then he like gets distracted. He's like, oh, a
Feed him to
steak.
death.
You know, that's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, you stuff him, dude.
Yeah,
with meat.
I am interested to see just the different combination of things you can do. You could do like a boat with like the motor or like the whatever the helicopter thing. So there's going to be a bunch of stuff that you can fuse, and it'll be fun to mess around with that. I'm excited about that gameplay dynamic. And then having the heat-seeking arrows was pretty sweet. Yeah. I thought that was cool. I do agree with you, Corey. That's my biggest pet peeve about
the only thing I don't like
Breath of the Wild.
Everything else is great.
I like having nice swords. I'm like, that's a really cool sword.
Yeah.
And then they just sit in my inventory because I never want to use them. I'm like,
exactly.
I just broke it. Ooh.
It's like such a gamer thing, but like when we played like Fire Emblem, you'd have like this amazing crit weapon.
Yeah.
And it'd be like such an amazing weapon, but you never wanted to use it unless you were desperate. And that's kind of the same thing with Zelda. It's like
Muramasa, baby.
you only use those Omega power swords, like those really cool like blue swords, unless you're like fighting Ganon in the end. But you don't get to enjoy them up until then.
I think you just put on your map where that weapon is, and then you just go back when you want more.
Those ones weren't. I mean, they weren't guaranteed. You'd find them in like dungeons and stuff, so you have to go all the way back in the dungeon.
That's why you put the little teleport thing where it is, and then you go back to it.
Too much work.
Anyways, guys,
I'm playing a game, not a chore.
I'm excited.
I'm just kidding. But it looked really good, and honestly, this is one of the few games that's really well done, technology wise. So it seems like you might get pretty good frames. It'll look great. But it is expanding into the air. What were you gonna say? Sorry.
No, I was gonna say that
and the underground.
That power was cool.
So there's gonna be more things to load. So we'll see how it goes.
Where you would shoot to the ceiling.
Yeah,
that was cool.
Yeah.
Although I will say, when he jumps off the island, the fact that there wasn't a load screen or anything, and you could just kind of dive faster down to Hyrule was interesting to me, because I thought, like, was there going to be?
Yeah, no, you should be open,
right? Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, but I'm like, for people saying that, oh, it's going to be like, how's the Switch going to handle it? I was like, it seemed like it handled it pretty good. Obviously, from what we saw,
that's a trailer. That's
as opposed to
yeah.
But I'm just like, oh, that might be. I don't know. I think it's going to be awesome.
I think it'll be more challenging, but I think it'll be fine, because it is like one of the most optimized, and it's made by Nintendo, so it's gonna be the most optimized for its system. Man, they got secrets they keep to themselves.
That's right.
They do.
It's gonna be doing really well too. I went to Best Buy to try to get the
pre-order,
not the pre-order,
Deluxe
but
edition?
the collector's edition.
Yeah.
And I asked the guy, I was like, hey, online it says you guys are sold out. Are you guys gonna get more? He's like, I don't know. He's like, and this is the only game that I've seen when I go to look in to see like how many people have ordered, it crashes our system. We can't even see how many people pre-ordered it. So he's like, that's never happened. So he's like, I don't know if we're going to get more, but it's, he's like, we don't even know how many people pre-ordered it, because it's insane. It's the system doesn't even handle it. So I'm like,
aftermath is going to be nasty.
That's pretty crazy. So I may have to just pre-order a normal one if I want to play it on day one.
Normie.
I already got the Zelda Switch. But
and it didn't come with a game.
No, it doesn't.
Are you kidding me? Really? No, I thought it would.
They never do, bro.
No, they never do.
They just look cool. They got gold.
This is like Diablo all over
That's
again.
right.
You get the special edition, but you don't get the epic game.
That's what it is. Let's move on to the next thing. I got another thing I want to talk about.
Sure.
The trailer for Blue Beetle. Came out today.
Yeah.
What did you guys think? Josh, let's go with you, since you are Mexican. What did you think?
Sí, señor.
He actually is Mexican.
I am. Okay.
Sí, señor.
Okay, I can do that. I thought it looked really good, actually. I'm actually excited for it. It's one of those, unlike Shazam, like, I feel like I was like, whatever. I'm excited to see a new character we haven't seen in live action before. And I honestly don't have too much of an attachment to Blue Beetle. Like, I played him in the Injustice games.
But you can see yourself in him.
I do. Yeah. I do really like the actor. He's
relatable.
He's from Cobra Kai. He's Miguel from Cobra Kai. And I think he's a perfect casting for this character. But yeah, I thought it looked really good. The suit looks good. Yeah. The CGI looks good on it. And then the practical stuff that they're doing with the suit, I think it looks really well done, and it's comic book accurate and everything, which is not usually the case a lot of times when they bring stuff to live action. But I don't know how I feel about George Lopez. He might get annoying, I feel like.
Yep.
But other than that,
and we say that as Mexicans.
Yeah, exactly.
Sí, senor.
But other than that, I think probably the only thing that I didn't really feel strongly about is I feel like the villain characters are going to be pretty generic.
Yeah.
It's going to be a generic like, oh, we're bad guys and we're coming for you. But other than that, I'm excited to go on this journey of like a origin story, see how he figures out his powers and stuff like that. That scene with him turning into taking over his body was pretty sweet looking. Got some body horror there, which was kind of cool. But yeah, I'm excited for it actually.
Yeah, I agree. It looks like a lot of fun. It reminds me of like the feeling I got watching the original Iron Man, and they are like similar traits to it with the a body armor suit and stuff. But this is such a unique spin on that it's going to be really fun seeing it in live action. And I mean, like you said, they've nailed the look of the suit. It's like right off the comics. So that's going to be a lot of fun to see. And if you've seen Young Justice, I think season 2 is when the character is introduced, but he's a lot of fun in that show. And so that's kind of what I'm hoping for. And it seems like from the trailers that he's going to be doing a really good job. But yeah, I agree. The George Lopez stuff didn't really work.
I just didn't know what was going on with his goatee.
So a big tumbleweed on his face.
Why the haters, bro? You guys don't like his comedy? You don't like him, huh?
Comedy?
Yeah, he does stand up. You don't like that?
Comedy.
All right, that's crazy.
But I mean, the trailer itself, it wasn't that like amazing of a trailer, but just the character and everything, I think it'll be a lot of fun. So.
I think this is a movie that I'm going to skip out on all the rest of the trailers. And I want to just go in without any other preconceived notions. I think I'm almost regretting watching the trailer just because I'm like, there are some lines that I wasn't super pumped about. And so I was kind of like, all right. The CGI looks great. But I also don't know a ton about Blue Beetle, so I kind of want to like take the ride blind going in. This is one of the few that I'm like, yeah, I think I don't want to see more trailers. Because also the thing that you said where the bad guys look kind of the bad guy looks generic. I don't want it to be revealed like the end game of the movie, which all trailers do, where they reveal this like the pinnacle of everything. So yeah. I think I want to go in blind as much as I can. But yeah, there are some lines that I was like, we'll see. I'm on the fence on this one, personally.
Yeah, it's a meh for me.
I'm going to watch it, but I'm not like, oh, dude, sick.
Yeah,
I
think what you guys said is right. The coolest part about this was he looks cool.
Yeah, the suit.
And the shot at the end where he gets the blade.
Yeah, the
that
Final
was like,
Fantasy,
that looked really cool.
blade.
I didn't like the inward voice. Nice choice.
No, I hated
that. Was weird.
The suit voice.
The suit voice.
She's like, nice choice.
Yeah,
I can make whatever you want.
I prefer Jarvis.
And he makes a two-handed sword, and she's like,
that seems
nice choice.
Just comparing that to Young Justice, it's a completely different take on it. So that did jump out to me. I was like, that
wait,
seems
is this accurate?
That seems too AI. Like,
yeah,
it felt like Siri.
I didn't like that. I didn't like the dialogue with his family. Felt like I was like, is this going to be like one of those cheesy like where the actors are bad and the dialogue doesn't fit?
You think George Lopez is bad actor?
No, I'm not saying George Lopez. I'm saying like
watch yourself,
the
man.
dad, the abuela, and the friend, the sister or whatever.
It's grandma.
Those interactions just felt weird. Like I was like, like if you can't, we talk about this with kid actors. Like if you don't get good actors and the delivery is off, then it just feels like, oh, this doesn't work. So that was I was a little weirded out about. And
weirded
like
you
not
out.
weirded out, but I was like,
that's a weird.
it didn't get me excited. Made me be like, like didn't convince me. The other thing, Susan Sarandon as the villain, her delivery was just like, she doesn't seem like a good villain.
We'll see.
There was just that one scene that I was like, so it didn't get me.
Yeah.
You have the other dude that came out of the tent that seems like she's the brainy villain and he's the brawny villain.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know. To me, it was like visuals look cool, but it feels like Shazam a little bit with a whole like family side of things. Like we're family, we fight for each other. That's kind of what Shazam's niche was, and I feel like to me, it didn't work in Shazam as well because I think the acting wasn't as good. So that's my concern. Is that
at the end of the movie, like, they all say Blue Beetle, and they all get their own.
The Beatles.
You know, you need a brown beetle, a blue beetle, a green beetle, a mayate. That's a green one that goes bzzz, and you put a string on it and you fly around. It's pretty awesome. So yeah, so I'm like, we'll see. I'm not super excited for it, but we'll see how it goes.
I think another thing that gets me more excited for it is it feels so disconnected from all the other DC stuff. Even though they name drop Batman at some point in the trailer,
that line was dumb.
It was dumb. Yeah, that was a dumb line. But
Batman's a fascist.
it feels like, so different, and I don't know if they've really established like where this lines up. I mean, right now the DC stuff is completely.
This is James Gunn's first. This is part of James Gunn's DC.
But see,
he reserves the right to, if it doesn't do well, to not continue.
Because he wasn't there originally when this started. So he's like, if it does them notes. He'll benefit from it. Okay, yeah.
It's disconnected enough where they're like, we can roll it in if it does well, basically.
Gosh, yeah.
It could be a dung beetle.
But yeah, just the fact that it feels like something newer and fresher, even though it does have a little bit of the Shazam thing there with family and
as far as like a character saying it feels fresh, like you haven't seen Blue Beetle on.
Yeah, I think it looks new enough to where I'm rooting for it, and I've liked the character before and other things, so I hope it does really well. I think it'll be fun.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not. I don't have any commitments to this. Like I have no bets in the game. I don't really care. And honestly, we'll see how it goes.
That might be the better way to go about it.
Yeah, it probably is. Yeah. Honestly, yeah. And I also don't know much about Blue Beetle. So yeah.
Is there anything else you guys had? You guys wanted to in the news?
There's a Secret War trailer.
Oh yeah.
The new Disney Plus series.
Looks like the world's against Nick Fury.
Yep.
Every time I see him, I'm like, a cat did that to him.
I know that.
An alien cat, bro. An alien cat.
I've never watched that movie, but I was watching a video of like going over the trailer, and they showed that clip, and I was like, that's how it happens? Are you kidding me?
It's so dumb because he looks pretty cool in the trailer. And yeah, that was the first thing I'm like, even though it was an alien cat, the alien cat scratched him, and it was like,
super strong cat.
He was still in his cat form.
Yeah, he's still in cat form, bro. Yeah, so those claws are tiny. They're like this size.
Yeah.
I got a scar on my chest from a cat. His ones are like that big,
and that's how strong cats are.
The trailer looks okay to me. It feels more like in line with Winter Soldier, so that's cool. I like Winter Soldier, so that's cool. I haven't. I don't know. I don't rewatch Marvel movies, so I'm kind of like, what's going on? Like, so it just seems a little like too long has passed for me to kind of like figure out where does this take place in the timeline? Is this like the next thing that's happening, or is this a little ways back? I don't know. It just seems like there's so much going on, and then it's also like, when you introduce the Loki and the different timelines,
multiverse,
then this kind of feels like, well,
what's the point?
What's the point of this? If like, does it matter at all? Because we've got Ant-Man going and doing all the like, I don't know. Kang the Conqueror is around there somewhere doing something. Does this really matter if he can kind of just destroy timelines? So I don't know. It's I guess I'll watch it, but I don't.
Halfway through the trailer too, I was like, I wish this was just a movie, because I'm a little burnt out on the Marvel shows.
Me too. Because when I saw the Disney Plus, I was like, oh shoot, yeah, right. I was like, oh frick, I thought it was a movie. I totally forgot. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
And wing.
And I guess it depends on the story they tell, but at least from the trailers, I was like, I feel like this could be a movie. I don't know.
So, we'll see.
We'll see. I'm not like that excited about it, but
bro, they needed to do well because their streaming series are not doing well.
They're not doing well.
So we'll see.
Yeah. But overall, did it look interesting to any of you guys? I mean, I think it looked all right. I think I'll try the first couple at least.
Yeah,
Just to see how it is. If it's a higher quality series, hopefully.
I think what it has going for it has more of like that spy thriller thing going for it. So maybe that is something that'll be at least entertaining.
Yeah.
I'm kind of in the same boat of like, I don't know what's happening, to be honest. Like, I didn't watch Captain Marvel. They better give me a recap. Because apparently the Nick Fury and whatever Robin from
Robin Scherbatsky.
They were Skrulls at one point.
Agent something,
Yeah,
So
he was out in space or something.
So at the end of Far From Home,
it
was revealed that the Nick Fury and Hill, I think her name's Agent Hill, Agent Robin Hill, that we saw in the movie the whole time, they were actually Skrulls.
Okay.
I don't know where the
Nick
real
Fury
Robin was,
space.
but Nick Fury was up on I think it was the Sword space station.
Okay.
And I think they said in some lines in the trailer that like he's coming back down from there or something.
So they don't even know where he was.
Yes.
It was just kind of like, let's put a reveal that he's a Skrull, and then we'll deal with that later.
Right. See, that's the thing is like, that was a post-credit scene that they're finally paying off that I had no idea. You know what I mean? It's like, okay.
19
And 10 years from now, Harry Styles will show up in a movie. And you're like, oh, yeah, that's right. It's Thanos' brother. Huh.
But yeah, I mean, we'll see. At least hopefully it's good action and hopefully the acting's good.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I don't have super high hopes for it.
I had thought about something else that came up.
Was it about Zack Snyder?
No, it wasn't.
Oh, thank goodness.
Although Rebel Moon is confirmed to be a trilogy now. Someone said that. So Stretcher 3.
Wow.
Better be good.
No, I was going to say, about Kang, Jonathan Majors is in trouble with the law. He got arrested.
For what?
For
Battery?
assault.
Yeah.
He
got too creed up.
No, well, check this out.
He's boxing too hard,
So he got arrested for, he was apparently in a cab with his girlfriend, and he
punch her up?
Texting another woman, and she like reached for his phone, and so they got in a fight.
Oof.
So he got arrested for that, but then he was like,
no match.
we have proof that it didn't happen, that it was a lie. And so the proof is text messages from the girlfriend saying, it was my fault, I shouldn't have reached for your phone. I told them to not press any charges. Like, that's his proof, is that she said, I shouldn't have done that. The other thing, when that first came out, there was like a director and another guy from Hollywood that posted like, we've known this for years about him. Like, if you knew, we haven't said anything because of like to keep other people safe that were hurt by him. And so they posted this when he got arrested. It's like, it's about time people finally know the truth about this. He's a sociopath, all that stuff.
Whoa.
Those tweets ended up getting deleted.
Good villain.
Those tweets ended up getting deleted.
I mean, Kang's pretty...
but so now people are wondering, like, are they going to recast? Because... he actually got arrested.
It's risky, yeah.
And they said, they always get arrested. New York's policy is that. But then he actually got
released.
Not released.
Convicted?
Not convicted, but what's
House
the thing?
arrest.
Charged?
Bail.
Charged.
Bail. Oh.
So they arrested, and then they ended up charging him. And obviously he did bail. But
Objection.
but that's just interesting.
That's crazy.
That might be something that now.
Yeah,
I mean,
that could be on the table.
They recast.
I don't know, bro. If she's like, "Oh, it's my fault," even though she got punched in the face, it's like, homie probably gave her some money to be like, "Yo, dude, can we just like make this go away?"
Even if
that's crazy.
That's so
That's
weird.
why it was
even
funny.
If she's like, "Oh, it's my fault. Sorry." That doesn't mean that stuff didn't happen.
She's like, and
sorry,
the tweet
I took your phone?
and
My
her
gosh.
messages are kind of like. And then, so they told me about the strangulation, but I told them that wasn't you and all this kind of stuff. So it's just like, I'm like, the text messages they released were like, this doesn't really help you. It just seems like, yeah, you did kind of rough her up a little bit. And then she's like, hey, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have. I told them to not press charges. Right. So it's anyway, that's going on.
Allegedly.
We might see what happens with Jonathan Majors recasting.
We might get sued for defamation.
It's true.
Defamation.
The other thing, we've obviously talked about this throughout the episode, but Star Wars Celebration is next week, or this weekend, actually. Apparently, we're going to get movie announcements.
Oh, my gosh.
Of an actual Star Wars movie that's going to come out. Some people are saying, there's rumors of saying 3 movies that they're going to announce.
What's it going to be?
We're going to get the Ahsoka show announced when it's actually coming out. People are saying in the fall, so not very far from now.
Yeah, I bet it is.
If we're going to get a Bad Batch 3. But I want to ask you guys, what do you guys think we're going to get in Star Wars Celebration? Do you think there's going to be any big reveals, or is it just going to be like Mando Season 4 is in the works? Are we going to get an Obi-Wan Season 2? Because there's an Obi-Wan panel. Are we going to get that? Do you guys think we're going to get a Bad Batch Season 3, or it's going to be rolled into a different show that kind of tells that story? What do you guys think? Do you have any predictions for what's going to happen at Star Wars Celebration this weekend?
We'll get a Visions Season 2 announcement.
Well, we already got the Visions.
Yeah, but we're going to get a confirmed what the date is, and we're going to get a trailer. We're going to get an animated...
Yeah, bro. I mean, come on.
I mean, Mando Season 4, you were throwing that out there, too.
I just gave options. I just said options.
I just gave you my answer.
Do you want me to actually take a real swing at this?
I'll give you another one. It's called Tales of Dexter's Diner. It's an animated show.
Yeah, I'm along that line.
Get wrecked.
There you go.
Yeah, mine's a Padawan's life, and it's the story of Grogu growing up in the Padawan.
There you go.
Yeah,
See, that's what I want to hear, guys.
It's like
Continue,
I'm not
Mr.
talking.
We're just joking, man.
No, that's fine.
Hey,
That's fine.
now you know how I feel every week on this podcast.
What are you talking about?
Well,
Now,
I have to listen to you.
But
deride me and
you troll him, he was trolling
belittle
me.
me. Okay,
He's just
okay.
getting
There are no,
okay,
there are no
medicine.
victims here. We're all friends.
Realistically, yeah. So we're gonna get Ahsoka. Duh. Is there gonna be anything around like Sabine or like anything directly around? Gosh, not Kanan. What's his name?
Ezra.
Like,
don't look at me.
I
Look
wish
at
we
him.
had stuff like that. I'll look at Mick, bro. Why can't I look at you?
No.
Dang, dude. You got trolled. You got trolled too hard. That'd be kind of cool. I want to know more information about maybe some High Republic stuff. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, we know there's going to be something post Force Awakens and all in that trilogy. Is that what the announcement's going to be? The post?
Yeah, but I think
carry
that's what people
those
saying.
characters into it, maybe. I think that's a high percentage. That's an safe bet, probably a safer bet.
Yeah, I think we'll get a title for a new movie and who the
You think
director is. Yeah.
That's your prediction.
I'm just starting my
The
predictions.
title for a movie. Okay.
The title,
good start, yeah.
title for the movie, and then the director, and when the release date is. I think we'll get a trailer for Andor Season 2. I think we're gonna get the Ahsoka. I think we're gonna get in the Ahsoka panel. We'll get the trailer, the release date, and I think we're gonna get actually who Thrawn is being played by, because that's not been disclosed. I think we're gonna get the guy that's playing Ezra on stage. They're gonna bring the cast out.
That casting's gonna be tough, dude. How are you gonna find?
Well, they already cast
blue.
Oh,
Sorry,
that's a good point.
Sorry, bro.
But I think
And Red Eyes.
that's what we're gonna
crazy.
get.
That's the hardest part.
I
That's the
don't know
hardest
if we're
part.
gonna get a Bad Batch Season 3.
Yes, you are, dude.
I think they might do a switcheroo where it's not called the Bad Batch
It's called
anymore.
Echo and Friends.
But I think they might do an animated show that's like, it's going to continue the story of the Bad Batch, but it's a different.
Oh, what?
Nah,
Yeah.
Why change it again?
I don't know, because they can.
I think it's just so tied into the Bad Batch characters that I think they're going to stick with the name.
They could. You guys are probably right, but I'm just saying, I'm swinging at fastballs here, not softballs.
What's the over under on Dave Filoni being announced as like a director of a movie?
Oh, that
What's
would
the
be
over-under on
60%
You think
chance
so?
that he
Really?
gets announced as
pretty good. That's
doing a
pretty
new movie.
That'd be sick. What do you guys think? Low odds.
I'd love to see it.
Yeah, but what are the odds? You think?
High.
Don't tell me that.
Or should we never tell the
High
odds?
odds,
Yeah,
right.
maybe we should never do that.
High.
High. So over 60, 70.
100%.
No chance.
I like the confidence. 0.
0%.
Okay. Well, we'll see who's right. My heart says 100%. So
What do you really say, though?
Like 30%.
Okay, yeah.
I don't think he's quite ready in their eyes, which is stupid because he totally is ready. As long as he writes and someone else directs, I think that's such a perfect.
I think he does a good
recipe.
director, though. His directing
I think so
episodes have
too.
been good.
I'm just not sure if they're.
Yeah.
Man,
I mean, at this
how
point,
many shows does he need to do to prove himself to these guys? He's actually the only one carrying Star Wars at the moment.
He's actually
Except
a
for
clone
Andor.
of George
Andor was
Lucas.
Yeah.
George
He's
Lucas
a Bad
actually
Batch
cloned him.
of him. Yeah.
Maybe that was
That's
the
why it looks a
inspiration
little
on Bad
different.
Batch. Maybe that was the inspiration on that
saying.
story beat.
Somehow Palpatine returned. George Lucas just going to constantly be returning.
George Lucas is just telling his own story, and he's Palpatine.
I buy it.
And Dave Filoni's Snoke? I don't know. No, he dies. So yeah.
At this point, the directors have all just been a revolving door. So
Yeah.
it's like, just give him a movie. What's it going to hurt?
Yeah.
As a person that's probably like closest to George Lucas in terms of knowledge.
Oh, I thought you were saying
You were speaking.
Yeah, speak your truth. Speak your truth, my friend. You are the closest.
It seems like he should be like the clear answer of like, give him a project, a movie, give it, do it.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I hope the Ahsoka series does really well because it's gonna be what I like in Star Wars. A lot of it. It's gonna be a lot of renegade / like old western style, spaghetti western style Star
Dave
Wars.
Filoni said Ahsoka is Western samurai movie.
Yes.
Show. So that's what we're
Speak
gonna
to
get.
me. Yes.
We're gonna get samurai
Okay.
kung fu.
Okay.
I'm so stoked.
I love it.
I'm so stoked.
Man, I love when you talk like that, dude. I'm gonna be honest, bro. That makes me so happy, bro. I love more of that from you.
More of it.
Josh, be more like John.
Nah, I'm
couldn't
good.
finish the sentence. I couldn't finish it.
All right. Well, I think that's it. Unless there's something else you guys wanted to talk about.
I think that's it.
Into the Spider-Verse trailer drops tomorrow.
Yeah.
We saw it. Really quick. We also have seen some Lady Gaga as Harley Quinn.
Yes.
In the Joker. She actually looks pretty good.
Looks pretty good.
When I saw that image, I was like, April Fools? Like early April Fools?
I like the aesthetic of it. There's a
wow, she
scene
really is.
where it's Joaquin Phoenix's Joker running down the street, and there's two other Jokers chasing him.
Yeah, I saw
So
that.
I'm like, this movie's going to be absolutely insane. Where it's just going to be like, he's so crazy that like, what's going on. I'm excited for that movie. But yeah, so there's been that out, and yeah, we're going to continue to. We'll find out later this month about Zack Snyder's future with DC and if we're sailing off in the sunset or what's going on there. So make sure you stick around to Nerd Age because we got you covered with everything.
Yep.
Zelda coming out.
Yeah.
Other games coming out.
All
everything,
things
right?
Zelda.
I just jogged your memory. What do you got?
There was some gameplay, or a lot of people played Jedi Fallen Order, and they
that's right.
said you can customize a lot of stuff. It's like really close to like an open world. They fixed the map.
Oh, yes.
They said the map is like a lot easier to use. There's fast travel between places. So all in all,
Apparently
that
the
sounds good.
lightsabers are way more customizable, like way more. And I saw that video going over stuff just lightly. Dude, I'm playing Kylo Ren's lightsaber. It's a two-handed style. They say it's way slow, but it's the most powerful, and it's the hardest to do. But it's like high risk, high reward. And I heard that, and I was like, that's so cool.
Nice.
This is a game. I'm actually going to play this game. I'm probably going to stream it, actually. I think I'll stream it. And because it is a one-player game. I don't like playing one-player games because, I don't know, it's kind of lonely, I guess.
I'll come over and watch you play,
if
bro.
people hang out and stream, it'll be cool.
Or you can just watch it from your home.
No, I want to be there and be like,
you're
in
just
the
like,
background.
that's cool, bro.
All right, cool.
Oh, nice. You sliced them good.
All right, sweet.
Yeah, let me know.
Yeah, actually, that game looks cool. And the fact that they fixed all that stuff. And they said this. They said the combat actually isn't too different from the first one, which some people are taking as that's dumb or not as fun. But I actually thought the combat was actually quite good in the first one. So I enjoyed it. So I don't think, changing something that's not broken.
Yeah, and if they can add more to it,
Yeah,
like
they just
different
added,
lightsabers or different force things that you can do.
like fight styles. They added fight styles. That's super
Yeah.
sick. Like you can go dual wield bow style, like bow staff style. Like,
and then there's the gun also they added.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it sounds like, at least from what everything
like,
I've heard, is that they've improved a lot on what was already there.
Yeah.
And they said
the story seems interesting too.
Yeah. They said they've added a lot of variety of different enemies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
dude,
Sounds pretty cool.
I'll be honest with you guys. I almost bought his lightsaber on a website. I was so close.
You should have bought this. They had the special edition of the game.
Oh, does it come with
it? Was just the hilt.
The hilt, yeah.
So you had to buy the thing separate, but it was like $300 or something like that.
Yeah.
Nothing.
I had it in a cart, bro.
Oh, bro.
I almost pulled the trigger.
Pull it.
It's probably my favorite lightsaber.
It's just got a lot of character to it.
It's so cool.
I love the top, how it's kind of like, it has that slit and it has this cool, like, and it
I actually
really
think
good.
Rey's lightsaber at the end of Rise of Skywalker is pretty legit.
I think Ahsoka's is the best.
Her two white ones.
Yeah, and the fact that it has the
Count
bend.
Dooku's is the best.
Count Dooku's is really good too, because it also has the bend.
I think Grogu's darksaber is going to be the best.
Also no. Just kidding. Stupid.
Also, E3 canceled.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if
Not that it matters
Do you think
much.
E3 is never going
Nah,
to
it's
recover
never coming
again?
back.
They're done because they're not adapting. Keeley is adapting.
Yes.
He is smart. His video game show, what is it called?
Yeah,
Game Awards.
Game Awards and Summer Game Fest, or whatever it's called.
He's just doing it better than this
Yeah.
huge organization. It's kind of embarrassing.
Well,
And
I know-
everyone pulls out. Nintendo does their own thing.
Yes, and they're
Like,
doing just
yes.
fine. They don't need that. Like
They don't need to pay to go to a place and then
yeah, they're and it's cheaper, guys. Like going in, making a physical set and like a place for people to interact with, and making this experience. You have to pay for staff. You have to pay for all these, dude. Those things are so expensive. We do it at Cloud9, and we don't even do it nearly to the degree like I remember going to PAX, and there was a Breath of the Wild freaking what's it called? Like an exhibit or booth. Yeah, booth. It was not a booth. It was an experience. It was crazy. And it's like they're saving so much money just doing it online. And what do you want to do? Like you want to see the new game, all the games, and you just want to like hear the spiel and see what you're hyped for. Now, I feel bad for people who like really are excited about, going in person to E3. But from the sounds of it, most people were like, it was kind of just it was getting overtaken by all these companies that weren't actually showing games. It was more of a tech show, and it was more of like, hey, buy our stuff instead of like experience this and like we're gonna make a fan of you. So I think it's for the betterment of games in general, because as Jeff Keighley, he kind of pushes us forward. Who knows? There might be a competitor,
like us.
that pops up. That's right. We're
Exactly.
Yes.
We just need to start streaming.
Guys out there who are making video games, if you guys want us to promote your game, we'll do it.
Yeah, for free.
No.
Just send us the game.
No, for money.
Well, we start free and then we add.
Nope.
No. Okay.
Dude, you're the worst.
Well, incentive.
Okay. You know what? You're right, dude. You're right, because it won't happen. You know what? It's all good. We'll give you money. Okay, we'll pay you. But yeah, it's a sad thing. I think a little bit of E3, because I'm sure a lot of people have a lot of memories. Like if PAX were to be never done again, I would be sad, because I think PAX is a really fun experience that you get to have with friends. And I'm sure E3 is that way for some people. But we have better options now. So, I mean, PS5 does their own stuff. They're directs, basically.
Yeah.
So does Xbox. They don't need anyone else.
Yeah. Mostly just kind of embarrassing for the organizers that like none of the big.
You know, the sad thing is that I followed some people on Twitter, and they're like, they're not invested. They're just the people who just try to work it out. And they're like, we seriously, honestly tried.
Yeah.
But just didn't line up. The money wasn't there or whatever. Sponsors backed out.
Yep.
Game companies backed out, and it's out of their control, really. So
Yeah, none of the big ones were going, and then I think it was Ubisoft and a couple other ones were like, we're not going to go anymore.
yeah.
And then it was just like, at that point, they're like, well, we're just going to cancel then.
Yeah.
Got nothing.
They were like, E3's back, baby.
After COVID, they're like,
They're like, yeah, we've got the ape guy that does Stardew
Concerned
Valley.
ape.
They're like, we've
right.
got Concerned Ape, and about
That's
it. Come to the Stardew Valley exhibit. You can
Check
make
out
some
the
radishes.
Phantom chocolatier.
That's right. Nice.
Yeah. Anyway, that'll do it for the show. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook,
YouTube.
Twitter, YouTube. And make sure you come back next week. We will have a lot of Star Wars, a lot of Mando, and anything else that comes out, we will be discussing it. So thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.
See ya.
Bye, everybody.
Do it.